up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I want to actually show you guys how to make and track and prep a meal prep so that you can set yourself up for success for the week. I have so many questions on how to do it, how to track it properly. So I'm just gonna take you like step by step on how to actually make it happen. Put all the pieces together. So first things first, I always track in MyfitnessPal. All of my clients also track in MyfitnessPal. So whenever you come in, and I'm just going to screen record this so that you guys can actually see like what I'm doing on MyfitnessPal. So no matter what, if it's a recipe, whether you're gonna make it one time or make it multiple times, always go in and actually create a recipe in MyfitnessPal. So what you're going to do is you're gonna come in and go into the more section, scroll down to My Meals, Recipes, and Foods, and then you're gonna go to create a recipe. If you have a recipe from the internet, you can always just copy it down into, you can add it from the web, so you can just copy and paste the website. Otherwise, I like to add the ingredients manually, just because even if you pull the ingredients in, or the recipe in, you're gonna have to change the ingredients anyway, because you have to track it based off of the brand that you use in order to be actually accurate. So you're just gonna have to go in and do double the work anyway. So I just like to start fresh. So you're gonna come in, name your, whatever you're cooking. So in this case, I am cooking a breakfast hash. Now it's gonna ask for how many servings. So if you have a recipe online, you can put in how many servings it's supposed to make. Otherwise, I kind of just put in a guesstimate for right now, and then later on we'll actually decide how many servings it actually makes, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So we're gonna go into next and then add ingredient. So in here, this is where you're going to add each individual ingredient that you're using. So I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer over here. So if you have the premium, you can scan in the bottom right. That's gonna be the easiest. Otherwise, usually just type in whatever the brand name is and whatever the item is. So on these, I'm just gonna type in Hill Country style hash browns. And then you have to make sure that the labels are correct, that they actually match up. So I'm gonna look back here, and this actually says 80 calories per serving. So we need to find the one with 80. Looks like right here, 3/4 of a cup is 80 calories. So we just want to make sure the macros are the same. Even if it's not the same brand, we still want to make sure that the macros are the same here, because this says it's giant, but the macros are the same. So this says in this entire container, which I'm going to use this entire bag, there's 10 servings. So I'm gonna put in here, I'm using 10 servings. You're gonna do that for each thing that you're using. So with my turkey sausage, it's Jenny, 100 calories. There's an entire pound in here. So you can always change this to, I use the entire pound. I'm using eggs, they're large eggs. I'm using 5 of them. Egg whites. I need to actually measure out the egg whites here. So I'm just gonna put my container on my scale, and then we're gonna turn it on so that it's completely zeroed out. Need to season these. This brand of seasoning, I have so many of them. Love them, they're so good. So now I'm gonna add the egg whites. I'm going to zero, I always track everything in grams. So I have it zeroed out in the grams here. $386 grams. So, and this is egg white out of a carton. So we want to do, they are 25 grams. 5 grams of protein. So we did 387 grams. So I'm gonna change this to, actually do milliliters. We can change the unit to milliliters just to be accurate with it. Grams and milliliters are usually the same. So 386. And then I'm gonna do a pepper and onion as well. So green pepper, probably gonna be 2, and then white onion, half a cup. probably a full cup. Is that everything we put in there? Hash brown, sausage, eggs, peppers. Yep, that's all. So now that you have all of the ingredients in there, we're gonna pause on this for a second because we're gonna find out how many servings this whole recipe actually makes. So even if you have a recipe that says it makes 6 servings, once you go to actually measure out and put them in individual containers, sometimes you're gonna look at a recipe and be like, that's a serving, like I need more than that. Or that's gonna be way too much. So it's really up to you to decide, but the fact that we're gonna weigh everything together once we're done cooking everything, and then that's gonna give us how many grams the total recipe weighs, and then from there we're gonna divide it by however many servings, let's say 6 servings for this recipe, and then we're gonna measure them out, and then we're gonna just do one and see, does that look like a good enough amount, and then go from there with it. We can kind of adjust accordingly. So I'm gonna finish cooking, put everything into a big bowl, and then we'll come back. So I'm gonna take my bowl, put it on the scale, and I'm gonna zero it out. Just in case the scale goes off in the process, this bowl weighs 439 grams. So just in case, we can always subtract that from the total, but I'm gonna try to keep it on so that we don't have to worry about that. So I am just finishing up with cooking. I'm just waiting on the eggs to finish up cooking, but I have everything else in the bowl here. So good thing we weighed the bowl beforehand. If not, I would have literally just put it into another bowl. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't take that long to wash another bowl, but basically I throw everything into one bowl and then I'm gonna weigh it out. Okay, eggs are good. So, remember how before I weighed out the bowl? So I'm gonna take my scale, I'm gonna zero it out, and then I'm gonna weigh the entire bowl. Everything on there. So this weighs 2,297. We said the bowl weighed 480. So back to the phone. So I also forgot earlier to put in the butter I was using. So you can't forget that, your butters and oils, because that can consume a lot of calories. So I did 5 tablespoons, 250 calories for a full recipe there. So we're gonna go to our calculator, 2,297 minus what the bowl weighs, because obviously we're not gonna be weighing the bowl. So this entire recipe weighs 1,817 grams. From there, remember earlier we put in 6 servings, so we're gonna start there. So we're gonna divide this by 6. So each serving is gonna weigh 302 grams if we're doing 6 servings. So what I'm gonna do now is take this bowl off of here. I'm gonna grab my meal prep containers and shut my stove off. I'm bad at that. So what we're gonna do, back to square one. So we're gonna take a container, put it on the scale, zero it out. Okay. Next, I'm gonna mix this whole thing up. Make sure it's nice and evenly mixed. You get everything as mixed as possible so you get like things evenly distributed. So remember, 302 grams. So this baby's zeroed out. So we're gonna weigh out 302 grams. I can already tell that's a lot of freaking food. Okay. Actually, it's not bad. This is 302 grams. This is honestly probably a serving for me. I thought it looked like a lot, but it's not. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at 6 grams. Now, if this was too much food for you to eat, I can probably eat this in one sitting, and this is gonna be a good pre-workout meal for me. So if this was too much food for you to eat, then we need to do more servings, right? So we're gonna go back to our original number. So we're gonna go back to the 1,817, do it on my phone over here. And then if we need more servings, then we'll divide it by 7, 259 grams. So that's probably a little bit more feasible. If that's still too much, just keep going up. Now, if you're someone who needs bigger serving sizes, then you can go down with it. So again, back to the 1817, you could divide by 5. That way you can put more in your serving. So that's how you do it. It's pretty fucking easy. So now that we have everything tracked in there, we go back to MyFitnessPal, make sure everything's right. Again, make sure you have all the right ingredients in there, all the right serving sizes in there, however many servings your recipe makes, make sure that's correct. And then it gives you your macros, so then you can save it. Another way that you can do it, if you didn't want to measure out into individual containers, if you just wanted to keep the big bowl in your fridge. So what you could do is, because the entire serving weighs 1,817, you can come into your serving size here and put 1,817 gram or servings. So that way, when you go to track it, let me just show you this for example. Go back to our food log. We're gonna go over here to my recipes, this breakfast hash, the one we just made. You know, each day, maybe you need a different amount based on your macros, or maybe you want to eat a different amount. Maybe you're more hungry, less hungry, whatever it is. So you can measure out however many grams of this you're gonna eat and then put that in for your serving size, and then it calculates the macros for you there. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can either do them individually. Sometimes that's easier. Obviously, it's gonna take way less time, just grab and go. Otherwise, if you, like maybe you're sharing your recipe with your husband, he needs more, you need less, you just measure it out based on the day for you guys. So you could do it that way. However, I don't like doing it that way. I like just portioning them out. So I'm gonna come back into here and just edit this and change this back to 6 servings. So save that. So 16 grams of fat, 32 carbs, and 31 grams of protein for that meal. And that is because obviously the turkey sausage is gonna be a big source of protein, but I had eggs in there, but I also added egg whites in there to help with the protein. Because if I was just doing eggs, I wouldn't have nearly as much, or I would need more eggs, obviously, and that would be more fat in each recipe and then not as much protein. So I do the egg whites because you can't really tell a huge difference. I still have 5 eggs in there, so there's the egg yolk in there for the flavor, and just season your shit and it's good, okay? So that's how you do it. I hope that helped. I have so many questions. Like I said, so many people ask me how to do that, and I haven't looked to see if there's any other videos out there, so I figured I'll just do it myself. So hopefully that helped. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else, especially when it comes to like tracking or meal prepping or whatever. Like if you guys want to see, just drop it below. Make sure you subscribe. We're getting back into the groove, back into the grind. We're back in action. So let me know what you guys want to see next. Whatever day it is that you're looking at this or watching it. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's nice where you're at, and we will see you next time.